Hey everyone, Sonobi. Another canning video. I'm gonna have to put it to rest soon. It's very early in the morning, so I have to be so I don't wake up the whole house. A few reminders to some of the people who are new to canning. Organization. The more organized you are, the better it'll be for you. Sanitation. Everything has to be washed, sanitized, sterilized, and please make sure that your work area is very, very clean. Follow your manufacturer's directions for your canner. Throw away what other people are doing with their canners. Focus on your canner. Altitude, please go online, find the altitude that is right for you or where you are. Canning is strict. Please follow the times and the processing times to the letter and to the number. They're very, very important. Please do your research. Learn everything there is to know about it. Keep learning. There's lots to learn. It never stops. Keep your family safe. Put the children away. Give them crayons, paper, their favorite toy, whatever makes them safe. Keep them safe. The pets are notorious for running under our feet and stumbling and tripping. Please put them aside and put them somewhere safe and give them their toys to play with. But with that being said, let's go can potatoes.
This is what we're going to need. You're going to need some rings, lids, jar lifter, lid lifter, ladles, hot boiling water, not really boiling, but hot simmering water for your lids and your rings. You're going to need paper towel, you're going to need vinegar, you're going to need something to burp your jars with. I have these today. Salt is needed today. I am using canning and pickling salt. I am also going to use cilantro because I do a lot of potato cilantro. And we'll need a funnel, something to protect your hands with, a cloth, and something to protect your tabletop with. So let's get started. I feel like it's been the week of the potatoes because it's pretty much been the week of potatoes for me. Now you don't have to do this. Some people can potatoes with the skin on, some don't. It's a personal preference. I personally like to take the peel off because it gives me more of a chance to inspect the bad potatoes. And this is a really good example. Now I'm going to take that off. I'm going to take the surface bruising off, and there's some other surface bruising. It gives me a good chance to take a look at it and cut a lot of that off if need be. And then I'm going to cut them up. I got these potatoes for a great deal, and some of them are really great, and then some of them, I don't know, they look like they had a bad Saturday night fight somewhere. I don't know, it was real bad. So I'll take the potatoes and I'm going to cube them and try to keep them at the same consistency. The smaller the cubes, the easier it'll get to put in the jars. But I still like to keep mine a little bit on the larger side, but that's just a personal preference. If I was doing batch after batch after batch, I would put lemon juice in here to keep them good until I can get to them, and that's what I would put in here. But I know I'm just doing 7 today, so I'm just going to put them in plain water, cold water. I usually always use fresh water, so that's been at a boil for a good 15-20 minutes now, so I'll keep that hot until I'm ready to use it. I have my canner ready to go. It's getting warm. Don't forget your vinegar to make sure that your jars don't get cloudy when they come out. I've washed my jars and put them in the dishwasher. Now I've put them in the oven to bring to a boil for about 15 minutes or so, and to keep them nice and hot till I'm ready to use them. My potatoes have come up to a boil. So I'm going to keep it at a low boil for about 7 minutes because my potatoes are a little bit on the chunky side. So depending on how big your potatoes are, it's really going to depend on how long you boil them for. So I'll be back when the 7 minutes is up and it's time to can them. Okay, we're going to fill some jars. First, I'm going to put my potatoes in. And I'll do 2 of them, and then I won't bore you with the rest. Because it's pretty easy to get these done. I think that I can get probably 2 more in there. Nope, 3. And I think that should be good. So the next thing I'm going to do, I won't use the funnel for this, is my salt. 1 teaspoon of salt. And I'm going to put in a half a teaspoon of cilantro because we love this infused in our potatoes. I've done other things like Italian and rosemary and thyme and all those wonderful things, and they work just as nice. Now I'm going to take my hot boiling water and pour them right over my potatoes. And you can smell the cilantro as soon as that hot water hits it. And we're going to take it to the 1-inch line, which is around there. It's the bottom rim. And put this aside. Next thing you're going to do is burp your jars. I find that these popsicle sticks work great, or stir sticks, for potatoes because they don't tend to mush your potatoes down and you know, squash them and all that kind of stuff. And they do a great job with hard things. So you want to make sure all the bubbles are out of there. And that's good. Next thing I'm going to do is vinegar. I always wipe the top with vinegar. It really doesn't matter what I'm doing. It's always vinegar that I use. This has to be really clean for it to seal. And that's really good. So I'm going to get my lid and my ring. And finger firm means firm. First resistance. That's what finger tight means to me. First resistance. You don't want to crank it so it can't breathe, but you don't want it on there loosey-goosey either. So just firm, that first resistance. So I'll do 1 more, and then we'll put them in the canner. And I'll come back when I put them in the canner. It goes pretty quick. You want to keep everything hot. So 1 teaspoon of salt, half a teaspoon of cilantro. You can put a little more in there if you like. Never hurt anybody. And my water. Right up to the inch line. And I'm going to be so happy when my week of potatoes is over. But when you get a good deal, you get a good deal. There's no stopping that. So clean stir stick, debubble, and these are going to go in for 40 minutes. And down the center. Make sure all those bubbles are out. And I'm going to put just a smidgen more water in there. Because potatoes tend to lose water. Sometimes. So the next thing, clean paper towel, vinegar, and wipe your rim. Make sure it's nice and clean. And then I'm going to get my lid and put on my ring, center it. Make sure you don't touch the top, you may get a false seal. Finger firm. And there you go. I'm gonna go put those in the canner. And when it's time to put the canner on, I'll be back. My canner's on high. I got 6 quarts. I really miscalculated. I was supposed to get the 7 quarts, but I got 6 quarts, but I got exactly 6 quarts. Nothing left over, not even one little teeny weeny potato. So I think that's pretty good. I'd rather have that than waste. So the water level is, it's getting pretty hot, but it's maybe halfway up the jar. And it's going to go in for 40 minutes. So I'm going to put it up to a little bit more than halfway up the jar because my beast is a water guzzler. Now I've got my vinegar in here and it's all ready to go. I've got the temperature put up to high, so I'm going to put my lid on and I'm going to wait for it to reach temperature. The canner's been brought up to temperature. This nipple here has popped up. And there is a steady stream of steam. I'm not sure if you can see that or not. So I'm going to let it vent for 10 minutes. I've got my timer on. And when the 10 minutes are up, I'm going to put my weight on. My canner's been venting for 10 minutes, so I'm going to put my weight on. It's 10 pounds. I'm below 1,000 feet. So make sure that you check where you are of what pound per pressure that you need to can with. So I'm going to put the weight on. I am going to wait till that pops up and comes up in pressure, and when it does, I'm going to start timing 40 minutes. Okay, my timer is set for 40 minutes. It's popping, and the dog is going to run for the hills now for about 40 minutes and hide in the office. So after 40 minutes, I'll come back. The 40 minutes is up. I have simply turned off the heat and moved the entire canner over to the other burner. It's going to go down in pressure. I don't know how long it's going to take, 35 minutes, 45 minutes. I can't tell what time it's going to be. The pressure canner has to tell me what time it's safe to take the lid off. What's going to happen is that this nipple is going to go down. That's a clear indication to me that the temperature has dropped in this canner. At that time, I will remove my weight. Please do not try to force your weight off your canner or take this lid off before the pressure has gone down. And every canner usually has an indicator to tell you when that is. So leave the weight on, leave everything as it is, and patience is a virtue. The canner will speak to you and tell you when it's safe. And when it's safe, I'll come back. It's been about 40 minutes, and as you can see, this nipple has gone down. That's safe for me to take this lid off. So I'm going to take my weight off, put that away because that is very, very hot stuff. Now when you open this lid, you have to be very, very careful. And always open the lid away from you. And I always gently just nudge it open and let some steam come out of there. And just crack it open. That's what I do. I don't just throw the lid off. The contents of this canner is still boiling hot. So you have to remember that. So I just gently let some steam out and then put the lid somewhere safe. And we will see what we have. Wow, the water level went down just about as much as I thought it was going to. And there are my potatoes. I have no idea if you can see that or not. I have no idea. Let me see, maybe back up. That's my potatoes. And it's still very, very hot and boiling. So I'm going to walk these over to my table and I'm going to sit them down. This is all the water that I'm left with after a 40-minute run. So I'm really happy that I put more water in than the recommended amount. I know with my canner specifically, I don't know if anybody else has that problem, but I have to have a certain amount of water in there for a certain amount of run time or my canner will run dry. So just something to keep in mind. Some of my potatoes still bubbling away. It's going to take quite a long time for them to sit still. I'm going to leave them on this table for 24 hours and wait for the pops and the seals. And I hope you can see how hot it is in those jars still after sitting for a long time, coming down in pressure. They're all like that. They're all bubbling away. And it could be quite dangerous, so make sure that your kids are put away and the pups are put away and all of that stuff when you're carrying these, because they're quite hot. My jars have been sitting for 24 hours and they've all sealed, and I'll show you how I wash them. Get a little bit of soap, warm water, take my rings off, wash the top and the sides, rinse them, and then I dry them, and they'll be ready to go. They turned out beautifully, and I'm going to store these in a cool, dry place. Make sure that you label the top, the date, and how you packed them, raw packed them, hot packed them, whatever you did. And there are my potatoes ready to go. So that's how I do my potatoes. Till next time, hey do.